Welcome friends! Today I'm so excited to share with you two cards that I created using the brand new collection from Carissa Wiley and Spellbinders. It's called Shine Bright and it's positive, uplifting, and just as sparkly and shiny as my friend Carissa. Now I'm going to show you the products that I have to work with today. First up, I have the Sparkle On Sentiments, which includes 4 different scripty sentiments. Love those. Then I have the Shine Bright Sentiment Strips, which cuts all of those strips all in one go. Now these are better press and you can foil with them as well with your Glimmer. I also have a lot more things. I have the Disco Balls Etched dies, the Sparkle Background Glimmer Hot Foil Plate and Die Set, the Shine Bright Etched dies, and then I have the layered Shine Bright die and stencil bundle. Now this will color a nice rainbow in for those Shine Bright sentiments. Super excited to get going with this collection, and I'm going to start by turning on my Glimmer hot foil plate. And I just love to glimmer all the things when I first get a collection like this so that I have a lot of things on hand to create with. I'm starting off with the Sparkle On Sentiments and some silver foil. Once my Glimmer hot foil plate is warmed up, I'm going to run that through my Platinum 6 slowly so that that foil has a chance to go onto my paper. And look at this amazing reveal. Super fun. There's also the coordinating dies, so it makes it really easy for you to die cut these sentiments out. I'm going to keep going with this sentiment, and I'm using the Glimmer hot foil in teal next. Take a look at this reveal. I love using different colored foils to get different results. It's so gorgeous. If you ever have overfoiling on your thin lines or sentiments, it's really easy to remove some of that with a mono sand eraser, and sometimes I'll just run that over my sentiments. Next, I'm going to foil the Shine Bright Sentiment Strips, and I love these because you can foil them all at once, then cut them all at once using the coordinating die. So then you can store them with your product, so when you want to create with it again, you always have a sentiment on hand. Again, I followed my Glimmer instructions to foil those plates, and this time I'm using silver. So I'm starting off with silver, but I'm also going to do it in teal again. Look at all of those sentiments ready to go. Now let's see the reveal of the same sentiments in teal. Love that. The coordinating dies for these Sparkle On sentiments also make it really easy to die cut these out perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut all of them out and keep them with my product to have them on hand to create with. Next, I'm going to cut my sentiment strips, and they are so easy to cut out together. You just have to make sure that you line those up centered left to right and top and bottom, and you can cut all of them at once. For my first card, I'm using that Sparkle Background Glimmer hot foil plate just as it is, and I'm starting with silver. So I just used the plate one time, put it on an A2 piece of cardstock, and you'll see that here when I pull this paper off and pull that foil off. So you can use this to create a one-sided sparkle background so that whatever is sparkling is coming from one side of your card. Then I'm going to grab the Treasured Cardstock Silver Assortment to get that silver foil so that I can cut out all of my disco balls. You want to make sure that you cut just the right amount of cardstock before you run that through your die cutting machine because it will etch that silver foil. So if you use a bigger piece, chances are you won't be able to use any of the excess. So I'm running that through my Platinum 6, and this is going to create 3 different gorgeous disco balls that are not only die cut on the outside, but also embossed beautifully in the center. Take a look at this. It's just absolutely gorgeous the way that it embosses on that foil. It is really beautiful. Next, I'm going to cut the backers. So these circles are included with the die set, and they're the exact same size as those disco balls. And you want to definitely double up on your metallic cardstock with these backers. And you would preferably cut these in like a thicker cardstock, like 100 pound or 110 pound, so that it helped that metallic cardstock straighten out. Before I do anything else with my background, I want to add a fun blend, and I'm starting out with Nectar, and I'm really going in kind of a radial direction around where that sunburst is. I'm going to add different colors, but I really want to get that nice orange glow here. Next, I'm switching to watermelon to add a little bit of pink to that upper left-hand corner. And then somewhere in between the two, I'm adding grapefruit, so that kind of in between orange and pink down to the bottom left-hand corner. Once your blend is complete, it's important to take a chamois and wipe off the foiled surfaces so that no ink stays there. Now we have a colorful and shiny background for our card. I'm going to make a shaker out of this card, and so I'm using the circle die included in the Disco Balls Etched dies to add the circle die here to the top. And you want to make sure that you use some tape that doesn't have a lot of stick to it so that it doesn't pull up your foil on your cardstock. So I've created a hole here, and next I'm going to cut this down so that it fits on the front of an A2 piece of cardstock. My panel is 3.5 by 5.5. Before I place this permanently, I'm going to use temporary tape adhesive from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L to add my panel to the front so that I can then place my disco ball within that hole. Doing this will help me to get everything aligned so that I can create the shaker and then pop up the top panel so that everything fits together perfectly. Once my disco ball is in place, I will then remove the front panel so that I can then create the shaker for that. To create a shaker, you need acetate on the back of a panel to hold those sequins in and create a window. So I'm using a tape runner from scrapbook.com and a piece of acetate from there as well. Then I will go ahead and add 2mm foam adhesive all around my circle and also around the frame and the center of my background panel. To get this prep to go on my card front, I'm also using liquid adhesive here so that when I do go to place it, I do have a little bit of wiggle time so that I can get it perfectly lined up with the card front. Now it's time to add that sparkle. I'm using some silver sequins here, just plain silver sequins, just a few of those. And then I'm going to grab some different Spellbinders sequins as well, some pink ones and some dark pink ones that I received in the Crafty Advent Calendar. If you don't have sequin mixes in your stash, you can just create your own. Then I'll place the top panel on top of that window, holding my sequins within that foam frame. Next, I will add the backers to my other 2 disco balls before I place them on the card front. Now that I have all of my disco balls, I can arrange them in a trio on my card front. I'm just going to bunch them together so that they all look nice and tight on the card front, and then I can place my sentiment below. Speaking of my sentiment, I had such a hard time deciding between the strip and the handwritten sentiment. I really liked the You've Got That Birthday Glow, and it comes in both of the sentiments. So I went with the strip because I figured that I had a lot going on at the top with those 3 disco balls, so I wanted to do something simple here. And I added that with 1mm foam adhesive from scrapbook.com. And there is our completed card, a lovely pink shiny shaker. Okay, for my second card, we're going with teal, and I decided that I wanted to try using this shiny background double. So I'm going to flip it to make it go all the way around in that sunburst pattern. So I'm placing my A2 piece of white cardstock on the front first on the left side of the cardstock, and I will run that through my Platinum 6 machine. And here is that gorgeous reveal. Love that. Now my circle is slightly off center, but I'm happy with that. I don't really want it to be right in the middle. So now I'm going to do the hinge method here, which means I'm going to flip my plate so that it is on top of my paper so that I can see where it's laying, and I'm going to use the remnant of my foil, which is one of the best things about foiling. You can always use the spare pieces that you didn't foil. And I'm making sure that I place this shiny side up on my cardstock this time because I'm doing things in reverse. And I'm folding my Glimmer plate down over the top, lining up the circle with what I had foiled before. Now, foil is a little bit slippery, so this might take you a couple of minutes to achieve, to get it all in place correctly, but I promise it is worth the results. So now I'm just going to put another piece of Best Ever craft tape, just making sure that it's a small piece here, around that foil plate and my cardstock, and then I can put it back down on the Glimmer machine, and it just fits, luckily, and then I can press that timer button. Now look at that reveal. It is beautiful, and I love doing this all of the way around on the cardstock. It really creates a gorgeous background. So you can use your leftover foil and a solid hot foil plate. So here I'm using the Essential Glimmer Solid Hexi Gem, and I'm placing my remnant foiled piece on top and following the Glimmer instructions for foiling here. Just wait until you see this reveal. And this is the best thing about foil, is that you don't have to waste any of your foil if you have solid plates. How cool is that? Now I can save that for another card. Okay, back to the card at hand. I'm going to go ahead and cut out a circle around that sunburst. I'm going to make another shaker card, this one a little bit different than the one before, as it's only going to be one disco ball. So I'm going to run that through my Platinum 6 and then cut the coordinating size disco ball from the silver foil paper. Just like on the last card, I'm going to place my top panel down with temporary adhesive so that I can get my disco ball in place so that it can be the shaker background. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that to that teal front using our craft glue from scrapbook.com. Once that disco ball is in place, it is safe for me to pull up that starburst panel so that I can add a little bit of color to it. For this card, I think it's obvious that I'm going with the teals, and I'm starting with Tide Pool from Concord and Ninth, just going around in a circle. For a bit of a different teal, I'm switching to Aqua Sky to bring out that color a bit further on the card front. Now that the panel is colored, I'm going to follow the same steps as I did in my first card to create that shaker panel. So I'm adding acetate to the background. Then I will create a foam window around my circle and also add more foam to the edges and center of that cardstock. So my front panel is prepped. I just need to add my little shaker bits. I'm going to add some frozen rhinestones from Gina K Design first of all, and then some teal sequins from Spellbinders, as well as some silver sequins as well. It's really hard to get a gauge on how many sequins to add here. I could have added more, but it's always better to have less than it is too many. Then I'll place my top panel on front to lock those sequins in on my disco ball. Now for my sentiment, I'm using the Shine word from the Shine Bright dies to die cut the sentiment out of silver glitter cardstock from the Treasured Cardstock Assortment pack. I already have part of my sentiment built with 2 layers of Waterfall Color Essentials cardstock, and I'm just adding this to the top of those waterfall pieces, just putting them a little bit up and to the left so that you can see that peekaboo effect of the waterfall color below the silver sparkle. I'm adhering my sentiment down with 1mm foam adhesive just for a little bit of a lift, and I'm also adding 1mm foam adhesive to my sentiment strip below that says "The world needs more of you," which I think is a really lovely sentiment for an uplifting card just to brighten anyone's day. Now there are some standalone sparkles included in the Sparkle Background Glimmer Hot Foil Plate set, and I wanted to go ahead and glimmer those in both teal and silver to use for this card background. These are really gorgeous, and you can add these to any kind of project that you have. So I've already done both silver and teal there, and I'm going to use the coordinating die to die cut those out. I love the way that these add just a little bit of extra sparkle, extra foil to that card front, and those larger sparkle shapes just look really nice on the card. The final touch is going to be the addition of a few frozen rhinestones from Gina K Designs. I just wanted to add some of the sparkle that is in the shaker to the card front, and that will finish off this very shiny and sparkly, uplifting card. Thanks so much for joining me as I shared 2 colorful and shiny cards from the brand new Shine Bright collection from Carissa Wiley and Spellbinders. This collection definitely has Carissa's positive and uplifting personality, and I just think it's wonderful that she has created this with Spellbinders so that we can share that positivity with the people that we love in our lives. Be sure to check out all the products that I used here by clicking the More button below so that you can expand that video description where you'll find a full supply list, or you can click the link over to my blog to see the visual supply list. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to see more card making videos from me, and thank you so much for watching today. Happy creating!